So it is Wednesday morning, and I deliberately did not create an episode about the huge supply chain attack, a new huge supply chain attack that happened yesterday with more than 600 NPM packages being affected, another Shai Hulud attack, because I don't wanna talk about that every week. But then a couple of hours ago, I woke up to reading that GitHub is investigating the breach of around 4,000 internal repositories due to the compromise of an employee device through a poisoned VS Code extension. And I'm really just tired. No week goes by without serious security incidents like this. Last week, we had the TanStack related supply chain attack wave. This week, we had another one, and now we have that GitHub attack. And thus far, from what GitHub released, it only, in quotes, affected their repository, the exfiltration of around 4,000 internal repositories, not customer repositories, also not private customer repositories, just internal GitHub repositories. But still, barely a week goes by without a new incident like this. And I mean, then we also have all these security vulnerabilities that are being found, like again involving GitHub, the one that was found a couple of weeks ago that allowed for remote code execution. It was found and patched before it could be abused, but cybersecurity is obviously becoming a huge issue. And I know, I talked about this before, and I talked about the role of AI and all that, which of course is huge because AI helps with finding security vulnerabilities, it helps with writing malicious code, it helps with running supply chain attacks, and it makes those attacks so much more interesting for the attackers because there are so many new people pushing code. There's more code being written than ever. There are agents writing code and installing packages. It's the Wild West out there right now. It is really an annoying timeline, I will say that. I am totally on board with that you have to adjust to AI being there, that you have to learn how to work with these tools. And that is what I'm doing for many months. And that is why I created courses on Claude Code or Codex. But also recently, my colleague Manuel created one on Claude Cowork because we want to share what we learned about these tools, how we're using them, how you can maybe use them to be more effective, and how to make that transition from traditional code writing to an AI enhanced developer. But at the same time, let's be very honest, I would love to have a simpler timeline with less security incidents, with less CEOs telling me all the time that all white collar work will be over in a month or so. But here we are. Here we are with another security incident today, and it's only Wednesday morning, as I mentioned, so we'll see what else comes around for the rest of this week. And the only thing we can do right now, besides leave the industry, of course, which is certainly what some developers did or are considering, the only thing which you can do if you decide to stay in that industry is, of course, to adapt and learn these AI tools, sure, but when it comes to security, to really take this seriously. And I know I also mentioned this before in past episodes, but that is, for example, why I created an entire free video on my other YouTube channel, which I'll link below again, where I walk you through some basic steps you can take to have a more secure development environment. And that includes stuff like using a package manager like pnpm or also bun as a package manager that is more secure by default. For example, the latest version of pnpm has a minimum release age of 1 day, which means if you install packages through it, it won't pull in packages that are younger than 1 day, therefore reducing the danger of being affected by supply chain attacks, since most of them, but not necessarily all of them, of course, you got no guarantee, but most of them are caught pretty quickly. So that's a good thing. And obviously you can tweak all these settings. And then managers like this, but also Bun, for example, block the execution of scripts that may be attached to packages you're installing. And then, of course, there are other steps like running in a dev container or in a virtual machine, doing your development there and not storing secrets in plain text on your machine. But of course, one also has to wonder for GitHub how the compromise of one employee's device, as it sounds, can lead to mass data exfiltration like this. So obviously, big companies or any companies with more than just a few employees will have to rethink how big or reconsider how big their blast radiuses are and how much damage a single employee can do. And that all happens at a time where theoretically you would want to give AI agents mass access to all kinds of data to make them efficient, to have agents crawl over vast amounts of data and interact with all kinds of systems. So you got these clashing realities right now. And the truth is, you're just in high danger if you are not restrictive about permissions, access rights, data security, and all that fun stuff nobody cared about for many, many years. But now it's getting serious. AI is making these attacks easier and more worthwhile. Fun times. Fun times to be a developer. But hey, it can probably only get better. We'll see.